Hello and welcome to FPL Mate, your best mate for fantasy Premier League content for the 2023-24 season. My name is Dan and we have just 3 weeks until the new Premier League season starts, which means we need to start thinking about our teams once again. So today I have updated my draft. There are a few spicy differentials in this one. I think you're going to like this one. So if you do, please do drop a like. And if you're serious about your FPL, make sure you are subscribed for daily tips all the way until deadline. Let's have a look at this team. Okay, so today, guys, I've got a team value of 99 million, which means I've got 1 million in the bank for some potential changes, which I will discuss throughout this video. Let's start off in goal with Flecken. So we are going for Flecken in goal once again. The best 4.5 million goalkeeper, in my opinion. He does look like he's going to be the new starting goalkeeper for Brentford. He has been given assurances that he is going to be the new starting man. Now, Raya is still at the club, but that doesn't mean that he's going to be starting. I feel like at a certain point, Raya is going to be sold. He's already come out and said, I want to go and have a new challenge. I want to play European football. So let's see what happens there. But for now, as we know, Flecken is going to be the starting goalkeeper for Brentford, which makes him the best 4.5 million goalkeeper, particularly with these fixtures. After Spurs, which is going to be a tricky game, we've got Fulham, Crystal Palace and Bournemouth. And defensively, Brentford are pretty decent. So I feel like this one could go out pretty well. He's a 3.8% ownership goalkeeper at the moment. So I'm not 100% sure if this is safe enough. But I do think that once Onana comes in at Manchester United at 5 million, maybe with the money I have in the bank, I could make that upgrade from Flecken to Onana. Let's see what happens there. Let's see when Onana is announced and what price he's going to be. But at 5 million, I might make that switch, to be fair. Into defense, we've got a new man, and that is Reece James. So Reece James is coming into this team. I feel like I've been suckered in a little bit to the Chelsea project at the moment. I like the idea of Pochettino and the high forward playing kind of wing backs. I guess not wing backs, they're full backs really, but I like the way that they are going to be very forward thinking, which is very good. We know that Chelsea do have some very good forward thinking fullbacks at the club. We've got Reece James at the moment, who I think is going to be on some set pieces as well. Small chance he's on penalties, but I kind of doubt that one. But I still think he is going to be getting attacking returns. We've already seen in the pre-season games for Chelsea that the fullbacks are probably going to be heavily involved in the attacking returns. Now, I've gone for Reece James over Chilwell at the moment, just because I feel like Chilwell does have that slight rotation risk with Cucurella. So I do think that is something that we do need to consider. But with these fullbacks, I know they're injury prone, but I do have a plan for that. But I do also think that with 1 game per week for Chelsea, no European football, this could actually be a huge thing for the Chelsea fullbacks. Obviously, Reece James is struggling with a little issue at the moment, but he seems like he's going to be absolutely fine for the start of the season. So right now, with these fixtures, after the Liverpool game, there are some fantastic fixtures for a long time for Chelsea. So I'm hoping Reece James can be a real nice player to go for. And I kind of like the idea of getting some clean sheets, attacking returns. Maybe we see a return of the Reece James of old, where he was just a high-flying kind of defender in FPL. We've got Purpose of Stupinian in the team still. These opening fixtures are just too good to ignore. Luton, Wolves and West Ham in the front 3. And we do imagine that we will see some clean sheets here, as well as a Stupinian with his attacking ability, getting up on the left-hand side, cutting inside, making passes to his teammates, running through on goal, overlapping Mitoma on that left-hand side. I think this could be really good. As we know, very highly owned player. Loads of people going for a Stupinian, so he's got to be in my team. And we're going to finish off the defense with Gabriel. I do feel like I want to have at least one Arsenal defender in here. We've got such good opening fixtures, and it does look like Arsenal, with all of the team that they're building right now, Saliba back, Rice in CDM, there's going to be some clean sheets. There's got to be some clean sheets. And Forest, Crystal Palace and Fulham, who are going to potentially be without Mitrovic, could be a really nice trio of opportunities for clean sheets. I wouldn't be surprised if Arsenal kept 3 clean sheets in 3. And we also have Gabriel. He has the best attacking threat of all of the Arsenal defenders. Plus, he only comes in at 5 million. That's pretty cheap for what you're getting there, really, for a title challenging team, nailed on defender in that team. It's really nice indeed. Into midfield, we've got Marcus Rashford. So Marcus Rashford actually entering my team for the first time this entire pre-season. I'm still not 100% sure on Rashford. I think if since Manchester United are signing a new forwards, that maybe Rashford's kind of role as the goal scorer is going to be diminished a little bit. So I do worry about that. But you have to remember, Rashford was pretty much an essential player last season. He was doing so well, particularly in that second half of the season. It was absolutely insane. And we've got some really nice fixtures. I like this Wolves game. I like the Forest game. But we also got Tottenham Hotspur there. And I really truly truly believe that Spurs are going to be a bit chaotic defensively. I feel like there will be serious opportunity for a lot of players to run in on them, counter-attack against them, and maybe get some goals like that. And Rashford is going to be perfect for that, really. And I feel like he could genuinely score a nice brace against Spurs. I think that's going to be a really good fixture to target with your attackers. For your defenders, maybe not so much. And I'm not really too convinced that Brentford are going to keep a clean sheet on the opening day. But hey, you never know, I guess. And we've got Saka up next. So Saka is now the second most popular player in FPL. He has just overtaken Estupiñán at 52.7% ownership. So to bet against Saka seems very, very dangerous. He's going to be near enough nailed on in this Arsenal team. He should be taking penalties as well. We do think he's going to take penalties, and he's going to have a lot of goals and assists, but maybe not quite as many as some of the other Arsenal attackers, but we know that he's going to be playing pretty much every single game. He's safe. You're hoping, really, that Arsenal get more penalties than they did last year. They only got 3 penalties last year, which is not too many, really. I wonder if they're going to get a few more this year, considering how much time they spend in and around the box with the technical ability that a lot of these attackers have at Arsenal. So, Saka, I think he's going to be on for a very, very good season. Bruno Fernandes up next, and with the addition of a new forward, I feel like this could really benefit Fernandes. Fernandes also underperformed for the lot of the time last season, so if he starts matching his numbers a little bit better, being on penalties as well, which always helps. I'm trying to load up my team with at least a few penalty takers. I think that might be pretty nice to have. So yeah, Fernandes I think could do pretty well in that respect, creating on penalties, taking shots from range. I don't think the addition of Mount is going to make Fernandes, more defensive. To be fair, previously when Fernandes was doing really well, he was playing alongside Eriksen in midfield, and do you really think that Eriksen is putting up a much better defensive shift than Mason Mount, for example? I don't actually know if that's going to be true. So I do still feel like we are going to see a much better Bruno Fernandes this season. So I'm really hoping for that. 8.5 million. Price decrease. I think this could be really good. We've got Martinelli up next, so I think is the most overlooked player in FPL. Those of you guys who have been following me on Twitter will know how much I've been hyping up Martinelli recently, but I do strongly believe that he is a player who could have an insane season. I would not be surprised if he is the top scoring midfielder in this Premier League season. I really can see that happening. Like, I know that sounds a little bit controversial, but he has all of the tools to do that. I think he is going to be playing just as many games as he did last season, and he only narrowly lost to Saka in overall points despite missing the end of the season. So I think Martinelli, best goal scorer at Arsenal, best finisher at Arsenal. He should start every single game, and maybe some games he comes off at 70 or 80 minutes, but that's going to depend on form as well. And I feel like with these fixtures, Forest, Crystal Palace, Fulham, even Manchester United, I feel like these Arsenal guys could really, really do some damage in attack. So really keen to double up on the Arsenal attack with Saka and Martinelli. They're my 2 favourite Arsenal picks to go for, so I'm absolutely going for them. And finally, we're going to complete the midfield with Kaoru Mitoma. Very, very popular player again. Luton, the first game of the season. You imagine that he's going to twist the Luton defenders in knots. We're hoping for good things from Brighton. I don't want to go in on too many Brighton players though, so we've only got 2 at the moment, because I do feel like there is a real good chance that after the fixtures turn a little bit worse and European football comes into play, we might see a bit of rotation, and we also might see a kind of less returns from them. So right now, the opening fixtures, I think Brighton players, absolutely fantastic. Estupiñán, Mitoma, probably the 2 best ones to go for, but in the future, I can see myself moving them on to different players, which is why it's nice to have that little bit of money in the bank, because we know we are going to be mixing up our players at some point. We're going to use those transfers, and I want to have that ability to go for different players at kind of different prices. Up front, we have got Erling Haaland. Yeah, no surprise here. He's been in every draft I've made, and he will be in every draft I make going forward all the way until deadline. Burnley opening fixture. We've got Sheffield United in game week 3, and then Fulham in 4 as well. There are just some amazing fixtures. It's just too good to ignore these Manchester City players, and although I don't have any other Man City players in my team currently, aside from Erling Haaland, but I still feel like that he probably covers it. He probably is enough, and you can just captain him every week pretty much, and really see the benefits of that bad boy. And let's go for Nkunku as the final player in this team. Yes, we've got another Chelsea player. Like I say, I've been suckered in, but Nkunku, another penalty taker. So we've now got Saka, Fernandes, Haaland, and Nkunku 4 penalty takers in the team, which is pretty nice, really. We've got the opening game against Liverpool, which I think could be potentially tough there. But after that, hopefully Nkunku is going to become that talisman. We know how good he is. We've seen that in the Bundesliga already. We've seen him, be like player of the season in the Bundesliga a couple of years ago. This guy is seriously elite. Going to be on penalties as well. Going to be the primary goal-scoring player for Chelsea under Pochettino. And we've got some really good fixtures after the initial 2. We've got Luton, Nottingham Forest. We've got like Bournemouth after that, like soon after that as well. We've got some really, really nice fixtures in general. So I do think like Chelsea are going to have some opportunities to score some goals. And I feel like Nkunku is probably going to be the centerpiece of that. Going to keep an eye on him on pre-season. Like Rashford, I'd say Nkunku and Rashford are the 2 players that aren't 100% nailed in my team. Those are 2 players I can see myself moving, changing around. But these are the 2 guys I've gone for right now. And I do like going for Nkunku because it means, 1, I don't have to go for Jesus, which allows me to get Martinelli. And also at 7.5 million with 1 million in the bank, it pretty much allows me to switch Nkunku to any other forward that I want in the entire game other than Harry Kane. I can switch him to literally pretty much anyone else aside from that. So that is really, really nice to have a real good kind of opportunity to switch to a, Callum Wilson or Isak if that goes well. Ollie Watkins I might want to go for at a certain point. So we have those opportunities with that really nice price point there. Onto the bench, guys. We have got Bentley, who is the Wolves backup goalkeeper, but there is kind of some murmurings that maybe Bentley could displace Jose Sarr as the kind of number 1 at Wolves. And I know it's not great to go for a Wolves goalkeeper, but at 4 million, if we could get a 4 million Wolves goalkeeper, I don't think that's such a bad thing, really. We've got Pau Torres here as well, which I think he's probably, right now, to me, the best 4.5 million defender in the entire game. Aston Villa's fixtures are pretty decent. Pau Torres is obviously a ball-playing defender, so naturally he is going to pick up bonus points in those low-scoring games if Aston Villa can keep clean sheets. And in general, I'm just really confident about Aston Villa this season. I think they're going to have a really, really good year, and I'd like to be involved in that somehow. Now, we've got Archer as well, who we don't really need to speak about him too much. He's just going to sit on the bench. He could get occasional minutes with European football for Villa, but I do want to talk about Gusto. So Malo Gusto is the backup right back at Chelsea, which means combining Reece James and Malo Gusto, we can basically guarantee ourselves that we're always going to have a fit Chelsea defender. We're always going to have it, unless somehow both of them get injured, which I guess could happen. We're going to always have a fit Chelsea defender. So with James, we have that risk on constantly looming over our heads. When is Reece James going to get injured? We're always very worried about that one. But when you've got Gusto, 4 million defender to just sit on your bench, you have that cover constantly. And yes, you are using 2 slots on 1 slot, essentially, because you've got 2 players covering 1 position, which is why I did think it was important to actually spend 4.5 million and go for a fairly decent backup defender there as well with Pau Torres. So in general, I really like this combo of James and Gusto. It's another reason why I've gone for James over Chilwell, because you do have that cover. And in general, I feel like this could work out really quite well, assuming that Chelsea get their acts together, which I think they have to, really. They have to. They've got a top manager, they've got a good project, they've got loads of good players. Surely it's all going to come together and they could see themselves not necessarily, challenging for the title, but could they be challenging for top 4? Absolutely. And they're going to be able to do that with a really strong start to the season after the initial Liverpool game. Really, really nice fixtures for a long time. So that's going to be very, very decent for them. And that pretty much concludes my starting 11. We're going to put the captain's armband on Erling Haaland, of course. Vice captain on Saka for now, just because of that nailed-onness and the penalties. I do still think Martinelli is a good potential shout for vice captain. And to be fair, I like Rashford and Fernandes for vice captain as well. So in general, even Purvis Estupiñán, I would also consider vice captaining him. There's a lot of players that could score really, really well in this opening game week, which is why I'm just really liking the look of this team. Now, there are a few kind of minor things in game week 1, and that is the Chelsea players mainly. Against Liverpool, that's going to be tough. And you will notice that this team is completely devoid of Liverpool players, which is another risk that I will be taking in game week 1, most probably. But at the end of the day, Trent Alexander-Arnold, yes, he could do quite well, but we've got some difficult fixtures for him. He's very, very expensive, and I wonder if we can maybe get a little bit more out of some of the midfielders rather than spending the money on Trent. We could maybe upgrade one of these defenders to Trent with a small amount of, switching around. So that is possible to get to him. We haven't got Mo Salah either, which again is another risk, but I feel like I've said this before. I'm not going to be captaining Salah. I probably would even captain Erling Haaland in game week 2, to be fair. So I don't know if I really want Salah in my team. It is a risk. It is definitely a risk. And I have no doubt that these Liverpool players could do well. But I'm thinking I either, use like Marcus Rashford as a cash cow to switch to those Liverpool players, or I could just wait until the first wild card when Liverpool, their fixtures look a lot better. We know how they're setting up. I just worry in general with Liverpool that aside from Salah, who do I really want to go for? All of the other forwards and midfielders are rotation risk. Even Trent Alexander-Arnold, we've seen him play CDM in pre-season, which is actually going to give him slightly less kind of attacking ability. To be fair, I was looking up some numbers as well, and Trent, even when he moved into the kind of inverted right-back position, he wasn't actually creating much more. It was more that his teammates were finishing the chances that he was creating. So it's a really difficult one there. I definitely am not adverse to going for Liverpool players, but just in this particular draft that I've made, I just don't really see a way of fitting them in, and I feel like there are reasons to be a little bit confident that you can go without them. So that's the team. Few risks in there, a decent amount of differentials. We've got Flecken, Gabriel, Martinelli, and Nkunku. All of these play, and Reece James, so 5 players under 20% ownership. So they are sensible differentials without going crazy differential. So I think in general that this team has the safe players. It's got your Saka, Rashford, Haaland captain, Estupiñán. Got those safe players, but also has a decent amount of risk in there as well. So a nice balance in my opinion. But I am very curious to see what the My Team tool in Fantasy Football Hub rates this team. Is this going to be a 90% rated team? That's kind of what I'm hoping for here. Let's have a look. Okay, so yes, we have got a 95% rated team here. That's very, very good indeed. Like I always say, if your team is rated 90% or more, it's probably a pretty good sign that you're in the right areas. Your team is not going to suffer too much. We've got a lot of players who are predicted with decent points here. We've got, like obviously the Brighton guys, the Manchester United guys have got really nice predicted points. Rashford 6.6 predicted points against Wolves, 5.7 against Spurs, and then 7 against Forest. That's actually really quite nice, isn't it? So that could be pretty decent. Bruno Fernandes coming in pretty nicely there as well. The 2 players that aren't predicted so highly are the Chelsea guys, so Reece James and Nkunku. So maybe there's a small concern there, small bit of worry there. But I think in general, when you move to like game week 2, we got 59.7 predicted points, so still not super high. But we go to like game week 3. In game week 3, the game week rating here, you can see is 99%. So game week 3, we're already prepared for a lot of what we might call the fixture swings that do start to come into play from game week 3. We're already prepared with that. With our kind of Chelsea guys, we've got both Nkunku and Reece James against Luton Town at home, for example. The Manchester United guys against the Forest. We've got Erling Haaland against Sheffield United, and Arsenal not too bad against Fulham either. So in general, as you go through the game weeks, there's not too many changes that are going to be needing to be made. So I can save my transfers for, like, I don't know, if we go forward to game week 4 maybe, we can start thinking about removing some of these Brighton players when their fixtures start to look a little bit worse. We could, take out Mittelmann here, just remove him quickly, and we can replace him with, I don't know, maybe like, we could go for like Eze maybe. That could be pretty good. Decent fixtures from then on, or we have enough money to go for Foden. That could potentially work as well because we'll have that 1 million in the bank. We do have those options, so that's going to be pretty nice, I think. I like this team, and I'm glad that we are team rated 95%. That's a really decent kind of return. Of course, guys, if you want to check out your own team's rating to see what the AI, the machine learning, thinks about your team and how well it thinks it's going to score, then I have left a link at the top of the description for you to check out. So yeah, make sure you have a look, see what your team rating is, and let me know as well, what is your team rating? Because I want to get a rough idea of where you guys are all at as well. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Really do appreciate it. Do drop a like on the video. It really does help out the channel so much. And like I say, do subscribe if you want daily FPL content to help you build your team ready for Game Week 1 and beat your rivals. That would be pretty nice. I am uploading more content on Instagram and TikTok now. We're doing like mini videos over there. If you just want more FPL Mate for whatever reason, you can go check that out. It's at FPL Mate on both of those platforms. So do go have a look. We're going to be doing some more streams very soon as well. But aside from that, guys, thank you so much for watching once again. And I will see you later, mates. Bye-bye.